Hey everybody, and welcome to our early comics review video. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that are releasing this week to your comic book store, or if you shop online at infinityflux.net. Make sure to go over there right now. These books are live. That way you can order them, they're in stock, and you don't have to worry about them selling out when they release to stores on a Wednesday. But this is a great week of books, a lot of number ones, a lot of really exciting things, and some of your favorites. So let's get into it.
Yeah, oh my gosh. We are going to start with Absolute Batman number 11. I don't even know where to start. Scott Snyder, art by Clay Mann in this one, and it is gorgeous. So, first thing I want to say is please try to avoid spoilers for this, because I feel like tomorrow morning there's going to be at least one page that gets leaked.
Yeah.
But without reading the story, you're not going to understand what it is. You might make an assumption about what it is when it's really something else. So please try to avoid spoilers. You really need to experience this as you turn every single page.
I was about to say, because this issue builds pretty dramatically to where you're like, wait, what happened? What's
going on? Yeah, it's like, slow down, wait a minute, I'm trying to process all this.
Yeah, you're going to be like questioning even the stuff that you're seeing.
Yeah, so this issue gives us the origin of Absolute Bane from his time growing up on the island of Santa Prisca to becoming the big hulking figure that we know today. But that's only about half the book. The other half, I don't want to tell you what it is because it is bonkers. Like, I've never quite seen... I'll tell you, we do get some good action between Absolute Bane and Absolute Batman.
Yeah.
And if you remember, we all met Bane back in 1993 during the Nightfall storyline, and we all remember the page where he broke Batman's back, and at the time, we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just saw that. That is nothing compared to what happens in here. So I don't want to tell you anything more than that, other than this blew me away. This may be the best issue of the series.
It's really hard because, so many of the best issues build upon previous best issues.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be like, well, now, but I do think it is consistently one-upping itself in what visually and just story-wise, not knowing, because I do feel like, and you'll feel this reading this, like, you don't know what Scott Snyder's going to do with Batman in this. It could go anywhere. And that's the, like, exciting part about this.
Yeah.
Because when stuff happens in this, you're basically like, well, what's the future?
Yeah. Now where do they go? That kind of thing. So, but you definitely have to read the story to understand it. If you just look at panels and look at pages, you're not going to get it. So you have to read this to really understand what's going on. But this absolutely blew me away. I've never quite seen the things that I've seen in here in a Batman book before.
Not in a Batman book for sure.
No, this whole story arc has been like some of the best comics I've read all year long. Maybe the best comics I've read all year long. And I always say that Absolute Superman is my favorite of the Absolute books, which is true, but man, this is really like vying for that top spot. Like it's just so good. So if you're a fan of what they've been doing with Bane and Batman during this story arc, buckle up, because you ain't seen nothing yet after reading this. So this has our highest recommendation possible. I wouldn't start reading with this issue, but hopefully you've been reading it by now, because this is just like no other. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, I think also what Scott Snyder's doing so well here is a lot of the elements, even the origin of Bane, is really tied in with the entire story of what's going on.
Yeah.
From, appearances of other characters to, a lot of his origin is very familiar to classic Bane origin. But kind of how it's allowed to evolve from the classic, like you said, it's Santa Prisca, that's basically the same thing. The pit that's there, that's all similar, but just how it grows is really cool. And I'll say it on this one because I said on the last one, I don't want to drop one thing where I don't drop another one. There is a bit more of the new Absolute Joker, but not like a you know, I believe we're going to be getting back to what part he plays in all of this, but it's a pretty interesting bit.
Yeah, it's not much though.
No.
Like it's not much at all. But yeah, you have to read this. You have to get it. Please avoid spoilers, because you won't believe your eyes when you read this.
Yeah, no, I was just we could talk the entire show
we could
about
spend a whole show on this, and like we barely even told you anything about the book, but I just don't want to spoil anything. I just don't want to run that risk of spoiling anything. So, like I said, yeah, origin of Absolute Bane, but that's only part of the book, and the other part of the book is just blows your mind out of your face.
your mind out of your face.
That's right. So
wow,
this is our A cover right here, and we got some cool variants. This is the Lee Garbett, who did a nice 3-part story arc in Detective Comics over the last couple months that I really enjoyed. This is the Chris Burnham variant. That's really cool. We have this 1 in 25
Clayman.
Oh, is that? Oh yeah. Oh, that's yeah. Oh gosh, that's a Clayman. We're selling that for $14.99. So that's kind of what your interior art looks like right there. And then this is the Chris Mooneyham 1 in 50 that we're selling for $19.99. Whew, what a book!
What a book!
What a book!
Yeah, it's quite the roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to the next story arc. You know, we've kind of not that we haven't wrapped up the Bane for sure story arc.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a fun interlude of like now when it comes back, you're gonna have way more weight to, you know, him being there and knowing where he comes from. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be really cool. So next up for me is Black Cat #1. This is a new Black Cat ongoing series by G. Willow Wilson and Gleb Milkonov. So to begin with, it looks awesome. We've got an A cover here. This is the A cover by Adam Hughes, who's doing the A covers for at least as far out as we've seen, which is so cool. Gleb Milkonov's art in this is just it's not as like dark and moody. It feels like almost a Spider-Man book, but with Black Cat. So the action is big and over the top and smashing through windows.
Kind of reminds me of maybe when Ed McGuinness does Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it kind of has that same kind of feel. His characters are a little bit more stocky, muscular.
Yeah,
but in a good way. I love that style.
Yeah, so I immediately love the look of this book. And what's really interesting, this is kind of narrated by Black Cat, which I thought was a fun way of doing this because you get inside her head a little bit more about everything that's going on.
Well, to add to that, she narrates it, but she almost kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit because as she's narrating, she's looking at us.
Yeah.
She's like looking right at me when I was reading this. Now, she's not like busting through panels and pages like Sensational She-Hulk. It's nothing like that. Yeah. It's not like Gwenpool where she knows she's in a comic, but it's just the way she narrates. It's like Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
Then she looks at the camera and she's like, I guess you're wondering how I got here, or something like that. Record scratch, And
it really works for her personality here.
Yeah.
So this does kind of spin out of what's going on in Amazing Spider-Man, where we'll talk about it in a little bit, but Spider-Man's not coming across as being the greatest person right now, and that's not just our opinion on the book. It is the, now he's got his web shooters on the outside. There's visually some differences. I think he's got almost more red or pinkish eyes.
He's got pink eye.
We'll get to that in Amazing Spider-Man, but just say this kind of spins out of there where Felicia is just trying to do her cat burglar job. She's trying to steal from things. She's doing all that, but she's running into more opposition, not by heroes, but by other villains, kind of getting in her way. So as she's trying to do one thing, the Lizard is there and kind of draws all the attention. She's like, well, I'm trying to do my secret little job and you're smashing through this place, which the way Gleb Milkonov draws Lizard in this is really cool.
Yeah, Lizard's got a cool design.
He's very big and stocky. But she's going through this, it's fun because she's also going to not really therapy, but she is there is an appearance by the night nurse in here where she kind of unloads on Night Nurse everything that's going on. And we do see a scene of her actually running into Spider-Man, which, doesn't necessarily go the way that she thinks it should. all of this leading to a point where she's wondering like why is everything in the city, why do I feel off, maybe come to the realize that Spider-Man was pretty vital taking care of the villains so she could do her little jobs over on the side, but now that he's not really holding up his, heroic side, that maybe she needs to do that to kind of almost reset the balance
Yeah.
in the city. We know going into this that they talked about this is where is she gonna actually become a hero, and you learn in here why she chooses to maybe try that out. Even though she still kind of has her way of doing it that maybe is not the most ethical way or the most maybe there's still a little crime going on, but this was really cool. So I love the narration by her. In particular, I love there's a scene where she talks about and kind of really breaks down like she presents as this really like perfect character, always has everything going on, she's got her luck, but she goes into what it takes to come across to present the way that she presents herself. And I just think it was a really fun look of like, well, she has to do a lot to run alongside some of these other heroes and stuff. She doesn't have super strength, so she does have to go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and her hair is not naturally that color. She goes out of her way to create this Black Cat persona, and I just thought that was a really really cool sequence. But this it kind of almost ties back with an Amazing Spider-Man issue we're going to be talking about here in a little bit because she's in that as well. And I really like this side by side that they're kind of doing where Black Cat is a little bit on the edges of what's going on with Spider-Man, also trying to figure everything out. And it feels really seamless if you've been reading Amazing Spider-Man, but I do still think it is accessible for you if you haven't been reading that as well, because she's got her own stuff going on. Plus, there's a fun kind of hook at the end where you see maybe who she'll be running up against coming up, and I think that's going to be
I'm really excited for that. Yeah,
because there's a couple of characters, and one in particular is one of my favorite ones. So this is great. Highly recommend Black Cat #1. We were talking about before the show that like Black Cat's had some really solid series. The Jed McKay one recently, and now this one. So this is I think for what was originally just a supporting character for Spider-Man, right now she's kind of taking over the hero spot from Spider-Man in a really cool way. So Black Cat #1. This is your A cover by Adam Hughes. We've also got this Lee variant. This is one of the big ones. This is the J. Scott Campbell. You'll be seeing a lot more of these Just Spectacular collection J. Scott Campbell covers coming up. We've got this Derek Chew cover. She does not wear the Spider-Man suit in here, but
I wish she did.
But it is kind of representative of the role that she's going to be taking on. And I would love at some point if there was a throwdown between her and whatever this current iteration of Spider-Man is to kind of knock some sense into him. We also have a Peach Momoko cover. This really nice spot foil Terry Dodson cover. We got a couple of incentives as well. So we have a 1 in 25 Simone DeMeo cover. We're selling for $14.99. We've got a 1 in 50 Virgin cover of the Derek Chew that we're selling for $29.99. And a big one. This is the 1 in 100 version of the J. Scott Campbell that we are selling for $99.99.
Just under $100.
Just under.
Yeah.
You could do a lot with that extra little bit between.
That's right. All right. Next up for me is a really, really fun one. This is Marvel All-on-One #1. This is The Thing versus the Marvel Universe. This is written by Ryan North. The art is by Ed McGuinness. This is a 64-page one-shot. This is not a mini-series or an ongoing, nothing like that. It's one single book. And every single page in this book is either a full-page splash or a part of a double-page spread. There's no panels in it at all. So the story is that Ben Grimm has just arrived back on Earth after a being out in space on a solo mission, and the minute he gets back, he hasn't even landed his aircraft yet. The minute he gets back into the atmosphere, basically, he is attacked by Earth's heroes. And the entire book, from cover to cover, is nothing but action as Ben Grimm fights Fantastic Four, Spider Man, the Hulk, the Avengers, the X Men are in there, like, and a whole bunch of others as well. And why are the heroes attacking Ben? Well, you have to read it to find out. I'm not going to tell you for sure. But I will say that we do find out why, or we do find out part of the reason why anyway early on, and I kind of wish we had waited till they had waited till later in the book to reveal it. But I understand why they did that, and
Yeah.
there is still a surprise reveal at the end too. So, but it is so much fun. The artwork is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The colors are bright. Tons of action.
This is a perfect book for McGinnis, who draws already such big characters.
Yeah.
It just feels like, he fills up those pages.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's cool because like the character designs, they all feel classic. Like Iron Man is in his just like classic red and gold. Cyclops is the '90s Jim Lee, the blue with the yellow strap. Like everybody like just feels like super classic. So this definitely is not in continuity. It doesn't even matter, if it is or not. But it's just one single story, chock full of action. It's so much fun. Like I wish they would do more of these with other heroes.
I was thinking about that when it was over. Either more with the Thing or more this style book, the full splash pages. You would have to have either McGinnis do them again or an artist of his caliber.
Yeah.
Because this is really a showcase for his ability.
Yeah, you could get somebody like a Kari Andrews or a Gerardo Sandoval or a Gleb Melnikov. You could get just somebody who like does big, bold action, And I always think like too, like every time I read a comic, because I love the idea of kids reading comics, and I always think, when I read a book, would a kid like this? A kid would love this.
Yeah.
And an adult would love this, and a fan of Ben Grimm would love this. Like this is just like. It's just so much fun. Like you should buy. I think it's $7.99, but again, 64 pages. I recommend picking it up just to have pure fun with beautiful artwork. It's every single page is action. Every single page.
What I do also really like is we've been getting a lot of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe or Predator.
Yeah.
This is not that. This is not grim, dark. This is fun. This feels like an episode of a Fantastic Four cartoon.
Yeah.
Where it's like, wait, what's going on in this one? It has that very like Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Bright blue skies, big colorful heroes, bombastic action, the Thing in your face in the whole page. It's that kind of level of fun. But I was surprised that I didn't read it just super fast. I thought
I didn't either.
There is dialogue because the heroes are talking to him as they're fighting him. So I was like, oh, this is nice, because I was just thinking like it's going to be almost like a cover gallery, but it's not that at all.
No, there's a story there for sure.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, especially when you get to the end of it. It's like, oh, that was a very fun, complete
give me
one-shot
more.
story.
Yeah, you're like, I want another one. Yeah. So very, very cool. Highly recommend it if you just like fun action-packed comics. So this is our A cover right here. That's from Ed McGinnis, right?
Yep.
You did that? Yeah. So that's what your interior art looks like. We have this Patrick Gleason cover, which looks great.
That's another artist I would love to see do
Oh
something
my gosh,
like that.
he would, yeah. And then here is the Peach Momoko Storm cover.
I do hope this is a little bit of a testing ground to see how people would react to this all splash page thing.
Yeah.
But I think if it's done well and, not overdone, this could be a thing almost like the black, white, and red.
Oh,
where it's like, every, 3 to 6 months we get. I don't want this as a mini series. I want just one shot.
One shot, one and done.
Spotlighting a character in over the top scenarios.
Yeah. So Marvel, if you're watching, I know you are. More, please.
Yeah, like give me one that's like Captain America fights 100 villains.
Yeah.
And just make it like that kind of level of action. So next up, I have another really cool one. This is the return of Spider-Gwen with all new Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider #1. So her previous series didn't wrap up that long ago, but it did some pretty big things to the character. And I do kind of understand this one is starting pretty much fresh going forward for a character that hasn't been around that super long. I mean, she's been around for a while now, but she has quite a full history of things going on, especially getting the symbiote costume that
Mhm.
she had. That was her main costume for a long time. A lot of supporting characters. This is a little bit back to, hey, what's she going to be as a street level character? This is by Stephanie Phillips. The art is by Paolo Villanelli. And in this, after all the stuff of the previous run, Gwen has now found herself on Earth 616. So she's in our main Marvel universe. She no longer has her symbiote suit, which gave her a lot of kind of additional powers and, for me, complicated the character a little bit
Yeah.
much. I did like it in some situations, but some it felt like this is just a hat on a hat situation. But she, like, that's why she has this new costume. So this is the kind of the premiere of this new costume. Also, her father is alive. So a lot of kind of reality altering things happened in the previous one, but all of that to kind of place her in the city for a new starting point. There is still the relationship with Fabian, the second Black Tarantula, or his dad was the original Black Tarantula, but that's kind of not a big part of this. It is
It's
kind
a
of
little bit, yeah, a little bit.
nodded to, but this is mostly a issue setting up the new status quo for Gwen, her place in the city where she's staying. But she's also, she remembers the previous universe, and one of the main things she misses is her band. That was such a big part of her identity, is being in the Mary Janes. So she decides to put out a kind of an open call for a new band to, musicians and stuff to come together. I won't say who's in it, but there is a familiar face
Hmm.
that answers the call, and
I loved it. I
yeah,
loved when that character showed up.
that is, I think, would be a great supporting character for this book
Hmm.
going forward. Um, but that's kind of the crux of Gwen's story. There is another story that is woven through this entire thing, that is, we don't get a lot of details about, but there is a guy, kind of seems like a jerk. Uh, is at like a convenience store, causes a ruckus, just kind of an entitled guy. Till an accident happens, he ends up in a back alley, and maybe, I don't think it's a symbiote, but something happens to him that maybe is transforming him.
Well, we're not, I don't know if we're supposed to know what it is yet, but if you read the solicitation for number 3, it tells you exactly what it is.
Okay, yeah.
So,
But this is kind of it looks like the first antagonist they're setting up for Gwen for this series. And you see sprinkled throughout the thing, it'll have like a 1 or 2 page where you see some horrible things that he's doing, and it looks like him and Gwen's paths are going to cross sooner rather than later. So it's cool because Gwen's story doesn't have a whole lot of action in it.
mhm.
It's more of like her and her band and all of that, but there is some other stuff going on that I think is really cool, and I'm very excited to see where this book goes. I like her new look. The art in this is really good. I know they talked about this being a definitely more street level
Mhm.
spider story, so she's going to be dealing with more thugs, more, that kind of character.
Which I'm excited for because it's like, oh, Spider-Gwen, enough with the multiverse hopping.
Yes.
I just want to see you fight, like, I don't know, Sandman or somebody.
Yeah, like I want some more classic Sinister Six or that kind of thing coming in here, because Spider-Man is about to go into space and all of this different stuff. So give us a cool, grounded city spider story. Highly recommended. If you love the character, you're gonna love this one. It is a little on the dark side.
Mhm.
It's a little violent, not graphic, over the top graphic, but for, a Spider Gwen story, there's some people who don't make it out of this, but this was really fun. So here is your A cover. Of course, we've got a fantastic, or a spectacular, J. Scott Campbell Just Spectacular collection cover with her classic
Yeah, I was gonna say
costume.
that's her old costume.
Which I don't think she's gonna keep this costume forever. Like anything, her original costume is definitely status quo level
Yeah,
now.
it'll always go back. They
Uh,
always go back.
We've got this Nogi-san cover. Very cool. This really nice, once again,
Yeah.
another spot foil cover. This is the Lolly cover. She does not have that puffy jacket, but maybe when it's cold, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. That's part of her new costume.
Is it?
Yeah.
part of the main costume? I
Part,
thought it was
part
just.
of her new one. It's there on that cover, that next one too.
Oh, I guess it just didn't look as puffy there.
Yeah, yeah. It's got like puffy, slightly puffy arms. You can see it better on that one right there.
Yeah. Okay, maybe this is. It looks less like a winter jacket. This more looks
Yeah.
like a hoodie. And this is a. I think this is a 1 in 10 or 1 in 15. Cover by Simone DeMeo that we are selling for $11.99. And then another biggie. This is the 1 in 100 uh, J. Scott Campbell Virgin cover that we're selling for $79.99. There's a little bit of spine ticking, nothing that breaks color, but it is, you can see some a little indentation, so it's a little bit cheaper than the Black Cat one.
Okay, next up for me is a new book from Image called Escape. This is from Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna, and this story is set during a big World War II type war, and it's focused on this character right here. His name's Milton Shaw, and he's a fighter pilot, and he's also some type of bear because all the characters in this book are anthropomorphic animals.
Not set within the same world beneath the trees.
That's right. That's a different bear. Right.
Different bear protagonist.
So Milton and his squadron, they are flying. They're pilots, right? They're this big like fighter squadron, and they are flying this big bomber over enemy territory, with the goal of bombing one of the enemy's biggest weapons, which just happens to be hidden in a city full of civilians. So they're trying to like aim perfectly. And this issue in particular is like a big, thrilling aerial dogfight. The whole issue, or 95% of the issue, is like this big fight in the sky. And it wouldn't really be too spoilery to say that not everybody makes it. And so the overall story of this series, and this isn't a spoiler either because this is the overall gist of the series, is that Milton is able to drop the bombs out of his bomber, but in doing so, or while doing so, his plane goes down behind enemy lines, and he's going to have to find a way to escape from enemy territory before his allies drop another really big bomb on this in the same place he's at to finish the enemy off once and for all. And we don't meet them in this issue, but we do know that at some point in the story, he's going to meet, I want to say, a father and son who live in the enemy country. And the three of them are going to, even though they're like on opposite sides, they're going to have to work together to try to get out of this place because Milton knows, hey, in any minute now, we're going to get there's going to be another bomb, and we're not going to make it. So they have to escape from where they're at. So this is really cool, though. I really like World War II era stories, and even though this isn't specifically World War II, it's not the Axis and it's not the Allies and the Axis powers. It has that same kind of feel. There's and even
kind of same era of technology.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like World War II. It's just like different name for the two different parties at war, that kind of thing. There's an afterword in the back of the book by Rick Remender just talking about how this story came about. And why he chose to use anthropomorphic animals. He said that he read an article that humans just naturally show more empathy towards animals than humans. Mm-hmm. And so he wanted to use animals in this. And he's right because, like I said, not all of Milton's squad makes it out. And even though we only just met them in this issue, when some of them go, it's like, oh man, that was really sad. I feel bad for that character. So really, really cool. Action-packed first issue. Like I said, aerial dogfights. The enemy has these fighter planes that come up, and there's maneuvers and things like that as they're trying to drop this bomb. And then he's gonna have to survive behind enemy lines, and it looks just like there's rubble everywhere when he crashes, and how's he gonna get out? I don't know. We'll have to read and find out. But really, really cool. I liked it a lot. I like the artwork. Like it was a really cool. Everything about it was really cool. So this is our A cover right here, and that's the only one we have.
Well, next up, another new #1. This is Justice League Red #1. This is going to be a new miniseries. Do you know how many issues this is? Probably
I don't know.
5-ish. I think it's going to be kind of like The Question and all of those. This is by Saladin Ahmed, and the art is by Clayton Henry. This, of course, spins out of the regular Justice League title. So Red Tornado has been kind of the brain or the guy in the chair or whatever for the Justice League and the Watchtower. I forgot at what point he lost his body, but they talk about that like in Justice League #1 that his conscious has become kind of the
Yeah, they're
Watchtower.
like he's running the thing while we're rebuilding his body. I'm like, you have unlimited technology. What's taking so long to build him a new body?
But so we've already been introduced to what Red Tornado's job is in the new Justice League, and it is kind of picking out the using his computer brain to pick out the perfect people for missions and organizing and distributing all the heroes that are currently in the Watchtower and part of the Justice League. Well, in this, we it starts with him running a lot of like algorithms, and every time he runs an algorithm about something, it comes up with some catastrophic event. So whether it is a global cryogenic devastation where you see the world covered in snow, to a zombification mass death with tons of zombies, or even an invasion from Apocalypse with a bunch of some of their drones flying
Yeah.
around and everything.
It reminded me of the movie War Games, where the computer runs the simulation, and every simulation results in the destruction of the world.
Yeah.
And the only way to prevent it is not to play in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, so you see a lot of like parademons and things from that. Um, why is why is he running this, and why are these the results? Well, you'll learn about that soon. So he puts out a special red alert to, at least for right now, we know of two. We can see more on the cover, but this issue only contains two of these heroes, and they're Justice League membership cards, which I love seeing.
yeah.
Which they always have on them. They pull them out, and they've turned red, and it draws them to a certain place. And the heroes it calls in this are Power Girl and Simon Baz Green Lantern. And immediately Simon's like super skeptical because he thinks somebody has hacked his things. Like, what villain is this? And it leads them somewhere. And I don't want to say what it is because it was really cool to see.
Yeah.
It's kind of a new location, but he runs into Power Girl, who's also got that call, and find out, hey, Red Tornado sent this. And he kind of explains what's going on. And it's not a spoiler, it's in the solicitations, but he basically says because of the sudden influx, the sudden return of the Justice League, um, it looks like there has been little attention given to the potential long-term ramifications of this.
Which is interesting because at the end of, I think the most recent issue of Justice League Unlimited, Wonder Woman and Batman call Superman to like a secret meeting. They're like, we made a mistake forming the Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
We didn't think about the consequences or something. So it kind of lines up with that.
Yeah, and it sounds like as he's been running these, theoretical scenarios, uh, it somehow doesn't, the Just League being there doesn't help, but it maybe escalates or causes, certain pieces to fall into place that are wrong. And the only way to fix this, he thinks, is having one, the Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, the main Justice League not know about this because they would try to get involved and that would throw things off. He has to find some other members to do kind of covert missions to maybe realign the algorithm to a more positive result. And, it's really, really cool to see, just Green Lantern, Simon Baz, and Power Girl go on a mission. I was like, they actually have a really cool, back and forth. They know
Yeah.
each other, but they're not,
Yeah.
they don't know each other really well. But there is maybe a twist. And what if they don't know everything about what all this is about? We don't either, but there's some hiccups that get thrown into it that make them start questioning something. And I'll leave it at that. But this was really fun. Clayton Henry's art was really fun, real clean. I like his character work in here. I'm really excited for some of the other characters to appear because at this point, I don't know why they would call it anymore. It seems like Power
Yeah.
Girl and Green Lantern got these characters, these situations covered pretty well.
I wonder if like the next issue is going to be like the other three,
Like,
and they don't all come together
did
till.
he call like different ones?
Yeah.
They don't know that they're all
Yeah.
being called. I'm not sure, but this was really fun. I'm definitely intrigued by the story, especially by the end when it's not all as it may seem. But yeah, I really like this, and I like this formula that DC's doing, where we've had a few of our miniseries wrap up like Challengers, like Question, um, introducing some new ones. Like we've got Mr. Terrific going on right now, and now Justice League Red. I am all for this kind of rotating, rolling alongside of the main Justice League
Yeah.
books. Some of these other that are there to flesh out maybe some of the upcoming stories. And is this going to tie into the DCKO event? Maybe. Like it
Maybe.
feels like it could, or at least be right up against it when it starts. So
Yeah, as I was reading this, I was like, okay, this is fun. I like this. This is fun. This is fun. But then you get to the end, and there, like you said, there's a mystery. There's
yeah,
something at the end that made me go from this is fun to whoa, what's that about? I really want to know. I
yeah.
really want the next issue. So
Yeah.
there is a little bit of a
It definitely
hook at the
it
end.
definitely is a setup issue. There is like quite a bit of action in this.
Mhm.
It's really fun, but it is one of those like you get to the end and then you got it. Then
Yeah, then it's like
you're in. Now
yeah,
it's
then it's like
in
whoa,
you.
now I'm questioning everything about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Really cool. I can't wait to see like having Deadman in here is going to be awesome.
I'm
Red
excited
Canary.
for Red Canary because I really like her, and we haven't seen much of her ever.
Yeah.
So
So I like this Just League Red too because they've alluded to Aquaman having a Justice League Blue. Man, give me a red and blue team like
Yeah.
a X-Men Gold and Blue. So here is your A cover for that. Got some cool variants as well. So this is the how do you say his name?
Gene Domenico.
Yes, that one. We've also have this really cool the Christian Ward variant. We talking about him riding something coming up soon, but with Deadman, at least from what we can see, does not appear in this. Maybe he's in the head of somebody. But
How does Red Tornado summon Deadman?
that's
Deadman, I don't know if you're here anymore.
How did they even get him a card?
Yeah, right.
They might have had to go through a magic user and be
Yeah.
like, "Can you give this to
Yeah.
Deadman? Is he still around?"
Yeah.
We also have a really nice foil
Yeah,
cover
that
as
looks
well
nice.
for the A cover.
Okay. Yep, there we go. Let's talk about Superman Unlimited #4.
Let's.
Because this was really fun. So this takes place in Gotham City. Jimmy Olsen is moving there basically to head up the Daily Planet operation in Gotham City, and Tina from Gorilla City is with him. And one night they come across an injured Man Bat and rush him to Dr. Leslie Tompkins to get some help, but Man Bat's injury doesn't keep him down for too long, and he wakes up in the middle of treatment, starts wrecking the place. So Jimmy Olsen, signal watch, calls Superman for help, and Superman shows up to help. However, Superman is a little bit weakened because he just rescued a woman who was falling off a building, and she was wearing kryptonite jewelry. Because again, in this story, kryptonite is very plentiful now. So he can get there, but he's on the weaker side because of that kryptonite. And this is not a spoiler because it's right here on the cover. Superman gets bitten and turns into Superman Bat. And then it's like, what do you do with a Superman who is also a big giant bat creature? I'll say that I don't want to tell you, but there are some other heroes that show up to help, which is really cool. And it's just a really fun issue. Like it's just, and this is a one and done story as well. So by the time you get to the end, the story is over. It's not like this is another story arc or whatever. This is all self-contained. There is a little bit of a through line story, just like all the issues have had. But just like last issue was a one and done, this is a one and done as well. It's really fun. Great artwork. Lucas Meyer and Raphael Albuquerque do the artwork on this.
It is really fun too because even Jimmy makes reference to the time that Superman's head got turned into a lion, and it kind of feels like in the spirit of those Golden Age Superman stories where he got turned into something weird and they had to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
It has that fun Superman feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember being on we were on a retailer call with Dan Slott several months ago before the first issue of Superman Unlimited came out, and he went ahead and told us about this one. He's like, I can't wait for you guys to see #4. I'm not going to tell you too much, but let's just say Superman Bat. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. He's like, I can't wait for you guys to see the cover and what he looks like. So he was just as giddy as a school child, ready, for this to come out. And it seems like he's having a ton of fun writing this series, and it shows because this series has been a ton of fun as well. And this issue is too. So yeah, like you said, it feels like Silver Age. Superman turns into something. They have to figure out how to stop him, and it's great. So there is our A cover right there. We have this Hayden Sherman. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Hayden Sherman variant. This is that's Mark Spears, right? Yep, Mark Spears variant. And okay, so this one's interesting. This is the Ryan Benjamin cover with John Kent training to resist the effects of kryptonite, because we know that's going to be a plot point in the series, but this does not happen in this book. No. So I don't know, maybe next issue, but we are going to see this, but not here. So I'm not really sure why
he's currently training in the hyperbolic time chamber.
That's right. Yeah, about 100 times gravity. But yeah, so we will see this, but not in this issue. They probably should have saved this for another issue. But yeah, really just fun issue of Superman.
That's what I love about all the Superman books right now, but specifically that one just feels like one you could recommend it to anybody.
Yeah,
it's just a, even it's, oh no, he turns into a man bat and it's kind of has that vampiric dark feel to it. It's still just fun.
Yeah.
It's still just action-packed, bubbly, really, really cool. Now, on a similar note, but way more tear-jerking, we have Krypto, The Last Dog of Krypton, #3. This is such a good series.
This is my favorite issue of the series so far.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful, and it's amazing how the Krypto from the movie, it feels similar of like, this is a great time for Krypto. This Krypto is not as crazy as that Krypto, but just so much love for Krypto out there right now.
Isn't Krypto also in Supergirl, the comic?
Yes.
Or he will be in the next issue, I guess.
Yeah. So, in this, Krypto has, escaped from the clutches of a young Lex Luthor who was terrible to him. But we still also haven't seen, like, the effects of Earth and Krypto being Kryptonian take effect on him. So, he's still, more or less a regular dog. I'd say he probably maybe has a little bit more endurance or something than a regular dog. But he's lost now. He's out in the, I think this issue is called Winter, like the next one's Spring. But this one is Winter, and it looks there's snow everywhere. He's kind of in the middle of the wilderness. Very sad puppy looking. But he's, he sees some deer. It's real cute. He kind of chases them for a minute, drinks from the water, but discovers pretty soon that there is a young girl who also appears to be lost. She's pretty young. We don't quite know what's happened to her, but she's gotten separated from her parents and is not doing well. Clearly, she's been out here for quite a while, and the effects of the cold are definitely getting to her, and she is just very in need. And of course, she sees Krypto, and this does help her a little bit, but she's like, okay, you seem lost too. So they kind of team up together, but Krypto's doing a little bit better. The girl is going downhill quickly, and Krypto is definitely a good boy and knows that she needs help, and he's got to find her some help. And I don't want to give too much away, but this is very much like Krypto's kind of a guardian angel type story. You see it from his perspective, but from her perspective, it is very much like a dog came out of nowhere. And it's so heartwarming. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's happy. It's got a great ending, and I'm just all for more of stories like this.
I'll tell you, I got misty-eyed after reading it. Really, I mean, it's a beautiful story. Did you mention there's not much dialogue?
There's not much, mostly because one, Krypto doesn't talk, and the girl talks to Krypto, but they're not having a discussion or anything. So it is pretty dialogue light, at least in the beginning. But just the pacing of it, this kind of the warm protection that Krypto brings to the girl is so nice. And there's just a really cool part kind of in the middle when he knows he needs to get a job done.
Yeah. Even though this is in the middle of a miniseries, if you really just wanted to, you could just read this one if you wanted to. Just ignore the last page because that's going to lead into some other stuff. But this is just a great story about Krypto, or if you're just a dog lover, you could just read this if you're a dog lover. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful story. I got choked up.
Yeah, it's great, and I can't wait for more of this. I almost hope it doesn't go too far in, like, you know, bringing in super villains and all that
Yeah,
kind of thing,
yeah.
because it works so well as Krypto kind of wandering through the world. He's, a little bit, has a little bit more endurance and everything, so he can be there to help others. And you could almost replace Krypto with Superman. That's kind of
Yeah.
the energy he brings to this. So I loved it. Highly recommend it. I mean, one of the top books of the week easily.
Yeah, I think it's my number 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Krypto at number 3. Man, that corner box art too, with Krypto
Hmm.
biting the chains, is so good. So there is your A cover for that. We also have this real. I love this one. This is the Nico Henrichen
Yeah,
variant.
that's great.
Now I like, man, I really hope we get to the point where I want to see the reunion of Superman and Krypto, because I feel like it will be, with this writing, with this style,
Yeah.
just, the ultimate tearjerker.
Yep.
But that was all the covers.
Okay. Well, speaking of books from DC featuring stories with dogs with little to no dialogue that tug at your heartstrings, Detective Comics number 1100 is out this week. Like, it's so weird that, like, two
Yeah.
similar stories are out. So this is great. So this is not the start of a new story arc, and it's not the end of a story arc. This is kind of a one and done anthology book. This has 4 different stories in it from 4 different creative teams. We are going to get a new story arc starting next issue, but this is just kind of like a little in betweener from the last story arc to the next one. The first story is my favorite. It's called Lost and Found. It's from Tom Taylor and Michael Janin, who are the creative team on Detective Comics right now. It is another beautiful story of a little of a deaf boy who lost his dog, and Batman helps him find his dog with help from another surprise character. I won't tell you who. There's no dialogue because the boy is deaf, but they communicate with sign language, and the way they do that is really nicely done. Like, Batman will, like, sign, and there'll be like a little arrow showing the motion of his
Oh
hand,
yeah.
so you can see how they're communicating via sign language. Um, it is a wonderful story. I also got choked up at the end. Maybe I just love dogs. I mean, I love dogs more than pretty much anything, and maybe it was that, but I got choked up in the end of this one as well. It's such a beautiful story. There's another story called Your Role in the Community from America Tamaki and Amanke Nwelpin. And Bruce Wayne is late to a charity function. And when he gets there, this reporter that's there grills him about, are you doing enough to help the city? Oh, you just write a check and your conscience is clear. And Bruce just kind of brushes it off. But the story goes back and forth between this charity event and the reason he was late, which is he was chasing down the Joker. And but there is some connective tissue between those two stories. There's another story called The Knife and Gun Club from Greg Rucka and Alvaro Martinez Bueno. And it's a real busy night in the ER, and this one nurse there, she thinks that Batman is too brutal, and she's like, he's only one hard punch away from killing somebody.
It's not
but
wrong.
but another nurse is there and just kind of tells her how it used to be before Batman showed up versus after he showed up. She's like, he's actually doing a lot of good. And then the last one is amazing as well. It's called The Fall. It's from Dan Waters and Bill Sienkiewicz, and Batman is chasing this serial killer who jumps off this, like, huge building, and Batman jumps after him, and the entire story is what Batman is thinking during that fall. And it's a couple different things. He's, like, thinking about, it's a, his thoughts on crime and stuff, but it's also very technical about, I need to, put my arms back, head first, reduce the wind drag, I'm almost there. And he's, like, calculating where he needs to be. Like, it's amazing. It's like a 4 or 5 page story all told while these guys are falling. And this doesn't matter, but there's a really cool close up in one page of Batman's grapple gun.
Oh, cool.
I like stuff like that. There's a lot of detail to it. Every single story, a lot of times you get an anthology book and it's like, oh, I like the first and second one, but that's it. Every story in this was really cool. Great stories, great creative team. So you can pick this up if you just want a cool Batman book. You don't need to have read anything else. This is disconnected from everything, and it's amazing. So there's our A cover right there. And we have some cool variants We have this. I feel like I should know this
It's a
one.
jock.
Yeah, Jock cover, right? Is that a wrap? That's a wraparound
It's a
too.
wraparound.
I mean, it's not much. It's just a cape on the back. But yeah, so there's your Jock cover right there. This is your Frank Miller cover. This this is the oh, does it? Oh, this is the Bruno Redondo Artist Spotlight variant. I love that. Robin says, "Oh, Father, this show is nuts," and it's the '66 Batman TV show. And then this is the Dave Johnson 1 in 25 that we're selling for 19.99. Just like all there's like solid, really good stories in it, and just another really good dog story.
Well, next up, I've got just a heartwarming, sweet tale of
Another dog?
of a little kitten.
Oh, right.
No, this is Battle Beast number 4, and it's brutal. So, picking up where we left off, Battle Beast and Prince Salaka just crash landed on his home planet that he hasn't been to in 1,000 years because he promises there is a thing called, or a person called the Juggernaut that can, maybe best Battle Beasts in a fight. But like I said, he hasn't been there in 1,000 years. Things probably changed a little bit in that time. So they've got some fun interactions with some local creatures there, but they do head out, and until they come across what appears to be someone in distress. And of course, Battle Beast would not do. He doesn't care that that doing kindness does not compute with him, but Prince Alaka thinks they should, uh, you know, do something nice, but it does backfire, and they end up in the clutches of this character, who is very much a kind of an old hag witch type character.
Kind of like the witch from like Hansel and Gretel or something like
Yeah.
that.
And what is her plan? To eat them. She doesn't think Prince Alaka really is going to be too much, but Battle Beast, that man is nothing but some prime meat.
Prime rib.
So you'll have to read to find out, but there may be a little history between this old hag and Prince Salaka, and we do know that their journey is going to lead them to this Juggernaut type character that we get a little hint at.
Yeah.
This feels like the most. Maybe there's not the most action in this issue, but it has this almost very fantasy.
It does
journey.
feel like a fantasy book. Yeah.
Even you do see the kind of ruined kingdom that Prince Alaka is from, and it looks kind of like an old fantasy castle coming up through all the overgrown foliage. I thought it was really cool. It is not as like crazy over the top bombastic as some of them, but it is
still a good story though.
Good story.
Yeah.
It's solidifying the story a little bit more, where the other one was just pit stops where Battle Beast.
I'm gonna smash things. Yeah. No, this is a little bit more deep than that. Yeah.
So that's really cool. Battle Beast gets a new weapon in here, which I'm wondering if it's going to be like his signature weapon now.
I hope so.
That's very, very cool when you see how it's created and everything. And it does look like, I don't feel like we are going to be lacking any over-the-top action from where the series is going. So maybe an issue that pulls back just a little bit is okay.
Yeah.
There's still, there's still action in this. There's still over-the-top, just gross and weird and crazy looking characters, all of that. I will say, remembering back to the original Battle Beast retailer call that we were on with Robert Kirkman and Ryan Otley and the creative team of this, there was questions asked about other supporting characters, and Robert Kirkman said, well, there's a character, she appears on the cover of number 4, and she's going to be pretty important. Well, that is this character right here. So I think this is more than a one-issue character. I think maybe she's going to play a pivotal part in this story. So we'll have to see. But I'm excited to see what's next, and it does look like we're leading to maybe a really action-packed scene.
Yeah.
So that is your A cover with this new character. She's just the prettiest thing you've ever laid your eyes on. We also have our main B cover by Ryan Sook. We've got a 1 in 10 cover by EJ Sue that we're selling for $8.99. We've got a 1 in 25 Jason Howard cover we're selling for $14.99. I really like that one. And we have a 1 in 50 Brett Booth cover we're selling for $44.99.
Ooh, I didn't see that one. That's awesome.
That actually kind of happens in the book.
Yep.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I also will say that from that original retailer call, we also know some stuff coming up in the series that has not been revealed yet. That
it's gonna knock your socks off.
It's gonna knock your socks off.
Yeah.
This is only getting started. You haven't seen a fraction of what this series has to offer, and I think people are going to be flipping out going forward. So, Battle Beast, don't miss it. It's great.
Next up, I've got Ghost Pepper #2, sticking with Image. This is written and drawn by Luda Lullaby. And this issue, even though it's #2, it already starts to give us a few answers to some questions that we had after reading the first issue. And it also sets up a new plot point. We actually see Batar, who is the character, the being that everybody on the planet worships. You know, we saw some of that worship last issue. We actually see Batar this issue, and we learn more about his alleged battle with the Great Cinder. We learn a little bit more about Ash, who's the main character of the book, and why Batar and his group are so sort of unnerved at the news that Ash has returned. And we meet a new character. This is the part I'm really excited about. We meet a new character named Vex, who is part of this group called the Eclipses that Batar calls in to deal with Ash. It's almost like this like elite fighting squad or something like that.
Almost,
you know,
it gives a little medieval, like maybe they're kind of like an elite guard or like Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah,
like
that.
They're the best at what they do, and they're kind of distinct.
Yeah,
I will say this book is really good because like Batar, you think oh, he's gonna be whatever kind of character, but something happens and you're like, oh, maybe there's multiple dimensions to each of these characters that I thought kind of threw me off guard and was really interesting.
Yeah. So Batar calls in the Eclipses to take care of Ash because he doesn't want him around. And we only see Vex so far, and it should be interesting though because apparently she has a history with Ash as well. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe Ash was part of the Eclipses at one point. I don't remember if they confirmed that or not, or if I'm just imagining that. But so that's going to be really cool to see. So there's not really a lot of action in this issue, but it does do a lot of important world building and character and plot development. And
you do learn a bit more about the Cinder too.
The Great Cinder,
the Great Cinder. Not like all the explanation, but you see kind of flashbacks of him rampaging.
Yeah,
I love that. That's one of the coolest twists on this series is that element of that character.
But it's just really good. The artwork is awesome. There's the character designs are cool. The vehicles and the tech and the environment, like it all just looks really, really cool. Very manga inspired.
Why they haven't already announced a video game set in this world
or an anime?
Give me an anime. You know, this feels like we're just seeing one little tiny bit of like a really rich world.
Yeah,
it gives definitely like Borderlands, Dune.
Yeah. I still get Trigun vibes.
Trigun, yeah, so much of that kind of stuff that is the character's just overly cool.
Yeah.
I loved issue 1, and this I don't know if I loved it more, but just cemented how much I'm like into the series.
Yeah,
now.
Plus this makes issue 1 better.
It does.
Plus it's really good too. So awesome. I love this series. It's a mini series, but I wish it were ongoing. I would read this forever.
It has to at least have like Bug Wars, like a book 2 coming.
Oh, I hope so. So this is our A cover right there, and we have this really nice Derek Chew variant.
That's the one I got.
Yeah, I didn't pre-order this. I should have, but I did pre-order I think it was the Derek Chew's second print that comes out this week also. We should have brought that back here with us too, but we don't have that. Derek Chew right there. This is the 1 in 10 Kale New variant. They were selling for $8.99. That's really cool too. And then this is the 1 in 25. Is that Jorge? Yeah, that's the Jorge Fornes variant. Yeah. They were selling for $19.99.
What's his little friend's name?
Jiminy.
Jiminy. Yeah. He's kind of like a little Jiminy Cricket type character. Exactly. I love that character.
Yeah.
That character is so much fun. a cool juxtaposition with this, tough, almost like Strider Aragorn
Yeah.
with a character with Ash, but he's got this little like funny little
Yeah.
sidekick guy. Well, and next up I have Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue number. Let me get to my
10.
notes. Issue number 10. So we've not that we've been overly critical of this series, but there's it's been a while since we've had a very like by the book Spider-Man character. That being said, this story has me so intrigued that I can't. It's like I can't look away from it. Not that it's a train wreck. It's far from that. The art in this one is great. It's a story that's like it's not a traditional Spider-Man story. It's not Spider-Man. It's not like the first part of this run with Spider-Man going up against classic villains who were messing with like a mind controlling Coca-Cola type product. This is a little bit different, but
yeah, it's like I'm not loving this story, but darn it, I can't stop reading because it's like I want to.
Yeah.
With it, especially with this, it's like, well, darn it, I got to find out what happens next. You know.
So in this, this Spider-Man, and I don't. We don't know who this Spider-Man is. We just know he did kind of show up at the end of the previous issue. He's got the web shooters on the outside and on his. I don't know if they're web shooters on his feet, but he's got he's got a little bit different look. He doesn't look like it on here, but he's got a different tint to his eyes that are almost a pink or a red, or an orange, something a little bit warmer. And he is going around the city. He, like I said, he appears in Black Cat, acting this way. He's very quiet. He doesn't speak as much, and he is way more brutal. So he goes up against the Shocker and the Aftershocks again in this one, and instead of just incapacitating them, he kind of does damage to them, like crushes their wrists and does stuff like that. And apparently he has a new web formula that also lasts way longer.
Yeah.
Which just kind of adds insult to injury.
Yeah, and it's way harder to break. Like they were using like a buzzsaw to try to get through it. It was just sparking. Yeah.
So I'm really intrigued by this Spider-Man. Whoever he is, I don't know quite yet. You've got Captain Kintsugi who shows up again, which I feel like there maybe should be a one-shot or something.
Whoever that is, yeah.
Whoever it is, he looks cool. I mean, he's interesting. He's got the shield. He kind of showed up and everyone's like, yeah, him. And we're all like, yeah, but who is he?
Who is he?
Where did he come from? He's trying to be heroic, but Spider-Man swings in as like, takes it over the top. We get more with Black Cat Felicia in this, where she's, concerned about what's going on. In both of them, you see that like Peter's not returning her phone calls, and she's kind of preparing, to maybe have to take him on at some point. But it's not just Spider-Man that's acting this way. Peter Parker is still around. Like, it's not like Spider-Man showed up, but Peter Parker's not showing up to work. No, Peter Parker's showing up to work, doing a great job. But also Peter Parker is kind of a jerk in this. He's kind of talking back to his boss slash friend. He's saying that like, oh, look at all these like basic errors you made in your equations. Good thing you got me around. And it's really weird. But I think, when I was reading this, I was like, why are we just... Because Spider-Man's not really the main character in this issue. He kind of comes in and out of it. But when I got to the final page, then I'm like, okay, now I'm super intrigued what's going on, and I kind of understand the structure that this issue was doing, going back and forth between Peter and Spider-Man and the different characters he was interacting with. It all kind of culminates in the end. And then our next issue is the oversized issue. Was it 250? What's it's a
950.
950. Yeah, I was about to say 250.
Oh, Legacy 950. Yeah.
No, Legacy 950. Yeah, issue number 11, Legacy 950.
I think. No, Legacy 975.
975.
My bad. Yeah, 975.
It's always an integer of 25.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a big one. I feel like we're going to get a lot of the answers to kind of what's going on in that issue. But they've pulled me along. I'm totally interested in what's going on.
Darn it, Marvel! I'm sold. I've got it, especially after the last page.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on?
What the heck's going on? Read it, and you'll know what we're talking about.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't say I like love or overly like this storyline, but I feel like I will have my feelings when I get to the end of it to know, okay, what was all of this about? And I feel like so far we're getting pieces, but not the full picture. And I really want to know what that full picture is.
What I love about this is that, the internet in all their infinite wisdom, they're like, oh, that's Ben Reilly. That's Ben Reilly. Like, everybody just is assuming this is Ben Reilly. And I've never been convinced it's Ben Reilly. Well, internet, when you read the last page, get back to me.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think after you read the last page.
Let me know about your theories at that point, because I'll be interested to hear your explanations. But so there is your A cover by John Romita Jr. We've also got this. Oh, I forgot to put down the artist's name for this one because I really like this one.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to tell on here, but it's almost like colored pencil on black paper. So that one's really cool. We also have a J. Scott Campbell.
That's the one I pre-ordered.
He draws a great Spider-Man. I miss his run of covers he did back in the day, so that's really cool. We also have a Paulo Sequeira 1 in 25. We're selling for $14.99.
All right, I have got a new book from Mad Cave. This is called Eat Your Young. This is from Brian Bucoletto, and the art is by Mattia Monaco. And this story is about all these characters on the cover. They are all part of the Irons family. The Irons family is one of presumably many clans of immortals called Centurions. And there's a one single page. It's front and back, but it explains everything very, very, very well. Basically, every clan is governed by its alpha, who is this character right here. His name is Edmund. And so Centurions are immortal only as long as their alpha lives. So every 100 years, the entire clan loses immortality for a span of 27 and a half days. And this period of time is called the Centurium. And during this time, any of the alpha's offspring can become the new alpha by killing their parent, killing the alpha, and drinking the blood from their heart. And then when that happens, that person becomes the new alpha, gains immortality, but the rest of the clan still loses it. So I guess if you want to really be immortal and last a long time, you have to remain the alpha over and over and over and over. Because if you don't become the alpha, you'll live 100 years and then you'll become mortal and you'll have a regular lifespan after that. So the alpha in this book right here, his name's Edmund. He's lived for over 2,000 years, and he's finally decided to relinquish his status quo, or his status as alpha, to his youngest daughter, Elsa, who is like school age. Like she's in like elementary school, and his other children, and he has like 30 other kids. They are not happy about this whatsoever. So this series is going to be about all of Edmund's children fighting each other, and also him to become the next alpha. And it's really cool because this is kind of like, how Exquisite Corpses, the first issue, introduced like all these different characters. Well, that's what this one does too. And it seems like all of the children that we meet in this issue, they're all like archetypes. Like there's the golden boy, and there's the tech mogul, and there's the doctor, and the vigilante, and the whatever and the whatever. So they all kind of like have this like little subtitle underneath their name. And presumably, there's a couple of them. They're like, I don't really care. I don't really want this. I'll just live however much longer I'm allowed to live. But presumably, like all of the other kids are really unhappy that he is going to let his youngest daughter become the alpha, and they're going to try to put a stop to that. So really cool concept. I know I don't know if I did a good job explaining it, but when you read it, there's like I said, there's a front and back page that explains it all perfectly. So this is our A cover, and it's the only one we've got.
Next up, so this is Event Horizon Dark Descent #1, and I will be transparent about this. Not that I wasn't looking forward to reading this, but I've seen Event Horizon, but it's been years. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I know I like it because it's kind of Lovecraftian mixed with like very alien feelings. spaceship, all of that. But I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to understand this going into it. Um, you know, it is kind of my cup of tea, but you know, it is a kind of a tie-in to a property that I'm not super well versed in, or even halfway well versed in. But let me say, I read this, and this is one of my favorite ones I read this
Wow.
week. It feels like you don't take it from someone who doesn't remember much other than what's his name from Jurassic Park was in it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Sam
Sam
Neill.
Neill.
Yeah.
Sam Neill's in it,
I was gonna say
and
Alan Grant, but no, that's
yeah,
that's
Alan Grant.
yeah.
He goes to the
Yeah.
stars. But I completely understood this, and I want more of it. When it got to the end, this is one of the ones I was like, I need the second issue because this is just getting started. So this is written by Christian Ward, who is an artist, you know, primarily, but then he did that Batman. I forgot what
Oh yeah. I don't remember.
the very like spooky, like there's a
Yeah.
Gotham underneath Gotham. And the art is by Tristan Jones, which usually his art style in here it feels a little bit like Andrea Sorrentino. Is not always my favorite. I like a more like bombastic Ed McGuinness or Ryan Otley style. It fit for this so perfectly that I fell immediately into it and really enjoyed it. So it starts off, the kind of caption says, in 2040, the starship Event Horizon disappeared on its maiden voyage. 7 years later, it reappeared, its crew all dead. This is the story of what happened. So we meet Williams, who is works on the gravity drive for the Event Horizon. And the gravity drive is basically how we can travel super long distances by folding space and time. Like, you know, you fold a piece of paper and you stick a pencil through it. There, you've traveled a long distance by folding time and space on top of each other. But it's still very theoretical. They've got a drive that can do it, but you know, no one's taken that first leap through it to find out what's going to happen when they get to the other side. So they can travel, you know, what would take 1,000 years in. They said what it takes to like for a Sunday afternoon drive. So he is William is worked on the drive, but his when we meet him, he's actually at the funeral for his wife, and some of like the military guys he works for that are behind all this are like, "Hey, we understand. This is really hard. Take as long as you need before you come back to work." And he's actually like, "Nope, I'm gonna be in on Monday." And they're like, "You don't have to. This is fine." He's like, "No, I've been having dreams like since she died, and I think I know how to kind of get over the last hump on building this thing." And they're like, okay. But then we do start seeing what his dreams look like, and they're nightmarish,
Mm.
where it looks like his wife, but kind of as this like skinless thing comes and whispers in his ear. Already not out on a good foot, but it kind of jumps forward, and we are on the event horizon. They are about to they're just like a day or so away from making this big jump. We're introduced to the crew. One of the main ones is Jennifer Kwan. She's a quantum physicist. And I think maybe she is the sister of the woman that died from the beginning. But she's basically like, I got nothing left on Earth, so this is kind of my mission now. But we meet a lot of other crew members. It feels very Aliens, where you've got all the different,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
they've all got their
Yeah.
different jobs on the ship. Um, and some have a particular one maybe has a big secret, because a lot of times when it's telling you about these different people, they're like, you know, they're running from, you know, something on Earth, like, you know, a messed up family or whatever. We meet one of them's like, she's running from nothing. She just wants to do this. But there is somebody who maybe is running from something a little bit more serious on board. And they're about to embark on this huge mission. So what is going to happen? We know it's like from the solicitations to pass through this, they actually kind of punch a hole through hell, and that's maybe where we're going with this. But we don't get too much other than some like the guy's dreams and all that. But this is setting up such a cool visual story, and such a cool, like, if you like Alien, if you like, I don't know, it gave me like Alien meets Hellraiser. It's kind of that like
Trying to think of what that's like, what that would be like. Yeah.
if you read it, you'll see what it is. But it's really cool. It's very dark. It's very moody. But I have a almost more notes on this than I do any other book this
Wow.
week because I just as I was reading, I was like, oh, I gotta like this is cool and this is cool, and I had to kind of condense the notes down. So all that to say, if this wasn't called Event Horizon, if it wasn't in tandem with the movie, I would be just as on board for this new horror sci-fi book. And I really hope we get more of this. I'm definitely checking out number 2. Highly recommend. There is your A cover. And that's you can see the silhouette of the Event Horizon there. We also have a variant by Christian Ward, the writer, and maybe you see that scary character in a scene. You'll have to read to find out. But yeah, not for kids. It's pretty disturbing, but really fun. And I didn't know I wanted to read a supernatural sci-fi horror, and then I read this as like I want more of this.
Yeah, very cool. All right, I've got another number 1. This is Venom, Black, White, and Blood, number 1. You guys know the deal with the Black, White, and Blood books. There are 3 different short one-and-done stories in this. The first one's called Force Majeure. It's from David McLeany and Jonas Scharf. And this one's cool because Venom stalks this evil scientist and his goons through the woods. This scientist was, I think it's early on when Eddie Brock was bonded with the symbiote, and he got caught, and the scientist was kind of like experimenting on him, but he got out, and they're running through the forest, and Venom's like chasing him. So you can imagine how scary that is. There's a story called Sweet Will Be the Flower from Ryan North and Crease Lee. This one's also kind of touching because Venom finds this young kid lying in an alley dying because he was shot by another kid. And that kid in the alley, he's not dead, but he's not going to survive this gunshot. But so the symbiote bonds with him because it tells Eddie that it can keep him alive for another couple hours. And so it bonds with the kid and keeps him alive long enough so that he can take revenge on the kid who shot him, which is pretty crazy. And then there's another story called Fathers and Sons. It's from J.M. DeMatteis and Dave Watcher. I did not get a chance to read that one, but I flipped through it and that looks cool too. So yeah, just 3 short one and done stories, just like, and it's all in black and white with red for the blood and whatever. You guys know the deal with these, but yeah, this one is for Venom. Oh yeah, we've got some cool covers. There's our A cover right there. We have this Peach Momoko variant. And this is the Mark Bagley variant with Carnage. I hope we see Carnage in one of these.
He is red.
He is red, yeah. And then this is the the Dolly. I don't have the
probably a 1 in.
Looks like maybe a 1 in 25.
Yeah.
We're selling for $19.99.
Next up, just briefly, we want to talk about G.I. Joe number 10. This was a fun issue continuing our story with Baroness and CoverGirl teamed up. They are in the clutches of Baron Blood now. And basically, he wants revenge because Baroness took his eye. And he says, give me, to CoverGirl, give me Baroness's eye. Or
an eye for an eye, basically?
Yeah,
literally?
Or, he's going to do something terrible to Baroness's parents that we saw in the last issue. So that's one of the stories going on. We also have Clutch and Hound head on a mission to get more Energon from a Cobra base. That is going to be really cool. And also Destro, there's a locked door, or it has security guards that no one's supposed to go into except for Cobra Commander. And of course, Destro does not like that, and he marches in anyway. But what does he find there? It is horrific, and we don't find out a whole lot about it in this, but it does sound like it's going to be explained maybe in the next issue, and I'm very interested to see what does Cobra Commander keep locked away that no one can see.
Nice.
So
I didn't get a chance to read this one, so I'm excited. I'm interested to see what that is. Don't tell me.
Well, it's a surprise pony for Destro's birthday.
Hooray!
So here is your A cover. We also have a Milana cover. We have a 1 in 10 Alan Qua cover, selling for $5.99. And we also have a 1 in 25, I believe this is Lucas Wernick that we're selling for $14.99. I just like them teamed up. They can have their
Yeah,
own
yeah.
ongoing book that's just them.
Next up, I've got This Ends Tonight, #2, and this is, I think it's a 3-issue series where each book is a different story, but they all kind of connect to each other. In this one, there's a young woman named Beth. She's with her older sister and her girlfriends in Vegas having a bachelorette party the night before her wedding, and everybody's having a good time. But all of the girls there, except for Beth, they seem to be some type of assassin group. Like they're all like really good fighters, kind of like Charlie's Angels, but much more deadly. And there's more than just 3 of them. And somebody puts a bounty on all of their heads, and these other assassins come after them. So they all just there's just like this big battle between these assassin groups throughout the streets of Vegas. But Beth remains completely oblivious to it the whole time, even though she's being dragged along with them. She's just like, "Hey, this is great. We're having a good time." And it's cool because there are a couple of panels in this where we see the 2 girls from the previous issue, but it doesn't focus on them. It's like they're just like in the first issue, if you remember, the 2 girls, they came out of a casino or something, and they nearly get hit by this van that's going the other way. Well, this book, the girls are they're the ones driving that van, and you see it from their perspective instead. So really cool. I have no idea. Oh, actually, I really want the 3rd issue with the way this one ended. Something pretty crazy happens at the end. So yeah, so if you like the first one, definitely pick this one up. I liked this better than the first one, so it's really, really cool. Lots of action.
Yeah, I didn't read it, but skimming through it, it's like they don't stop moving in
No,
this.
no.
It is like always like left to right of the page.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our A cover right here. We have this Tula Lotte variant. That's a couple of the girls right there. This is the
It's also Jay Lee.
oh yeah, that's the Jay Lee 1 in 15 variant that we're selling for $14.99. And then this one is also Jay Lee. It looks like a connecting cover, but it's not. See, it's backwards. It feels like
Does
it
it
should
connect
be.
with the A cover? Oh no.
Does it? Hold on, we're trying to figure this.
They're just
It's just the reverse.
mirror images.
Oh wait, this connects.
There we go.
So this 1 in 15 connects with the A cover, like this. That's kind of weird. So yeah, there's that because you can see her sword lines up there. Okay, interesting. But then this cover is like the reverse of the A cover. It's the 1 in 25. Jay Lee, we're selling that one for $24.99. So it's the reverse of this. That's weird.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's interesting. Maybe it'll line up with one of the other issues covers.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, next up, I've got Absolute Flash #3. Is this only #3? 6.
Yeah.
I don't know why I have 3. I cut it in half. Probably because he's holding up a big #3 on the cover, and I just saw that. So this is kind of a special one-off issue with guest art by Nick Robles, and this is the backstory of the Absolute Rogues and how they got involved in this whole story. So Wally West's father goes around gathering these rogues, the classic rogues we know, but they don't have like the armor and everything that they do later, because apparently they did something. They're all kind of disgraced ex-military, because there was some they turned on their own side, or they kind of became mercenaries, and basically they're blacklisted from everything. But Wally's father says, well, if you help me with a certain job, we can wipe your slates clean. Also, you don't really have a choice in this matter. So it gets all of them together, Captain Cold and Captain Boomerang, and all of them come together, and we see how and where they get their tech later. And this is not my favorite issue of the series. It's definitely way less action. It's some backstory that's pretty interesting, but there's no Flash in this.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one kind of a two-page splash. It's a two-page connecting scene that is something so cool that suddenly now I want that. It is it's a flashback to something.
No pun intended.
Pun maybe intended because it's a flash book, but it's something that is I don't know. It's something that I didn't expect to see, and maybe some characters I didn't expect to see. And now I'm like, okay, well, now give me a whole issue of that. And what does that mean to what's currently going on? And that one scene, I think, no, was like the redeeming factor of this issue because it was a good issue, but that one elevated it to like, oh, that's the big thing in this issue that I want to see more of. So, Absolute Flash number 6, a fun kind of slower interlude where you learn a little bit more about this version of the Rogues. There's your A cover. We have a Tyler Kirkham variant that's really cool. We've got a 1 in 25 Malavia variant as well that we're selling for $11.99. And lastly, we have a 1 in 50 version of the Tyler Kirkham cover that we're selling for $24.99.
Well, I've got Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe. No, Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, number 2. And in this one, I like this a little bit better than the first one. The villains in the bar with no name join in the heroes' fight against Godzilla. Even Stiltman gets in on the action, which is really cool. And Doctor Strange comes up with a plan to stop Godzilla, but it's only a temporary solution. They are definitely not out of the woods yet. But yeah, if you like the first one, definitely don't miss this. This does not happen on the cover here. It would have been cool if it did. Maybe it will later, but this doesn't happen. But yeah, some more cool Godzilla battles. So there's our A cover right there. There's a bunch of variants for this. This is the Watcher variant. I like this one. This is the Zorno variant. We have our John Tyler Christopher action figure variant. We have this Stonehouse variant. And this is the Sorrentino. I don't have the ratio, but this is the we're selling this for $19.99. I think maybe this is like a 1 in 25.
Real quick, Exquisite Corpses number 4. This is a really hard book to talk about because it's just continuing the story, and anything I would say would be a spoiler to what happens in it.
I will say this is my favorite issue since the first one.
Really?
I really like this one, yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting. We do get introduced to another one of the killers it's kind of one of the more outlandish ones. And yeah, there's something that happens at the car dealership that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a whole lot to say, but if you've enjoyed it, you're going to continue to enjoy it. Here is your A cover.
You're going to continue to enjoy it. You're going to like it.
Yeah, you don't have a say in this. Yeah. We have a Puppeteer Lee cover, which we do get a little bit more with the Fox character. A little bit more, maybe even character development.
Yeah.
We also have this. This is the Adam Gorham variant. We also have a 1 in 25 Dylan variant. We're selling for $19.99. We have a 1 in 50 Wes Craig variant. We're selling for $39.99. We do get that character in this, which I want to see more of. And we've got a these are called thank you variants, and they just basically send them out one per store. That we are selling for $49.99, and this is a foil version of the A cover.
And we get a lot with that character in this, yeah.
She seems to be maybe one of the more important characters in the series.
All right, I've got Imperial number 3, continuing to love this series. Now, there's lots of spoilers in this, so I can't say too much because this is the next to last issue of the main series. We still don't have the tie-ins yet, but this is only a 4-issue thing, I'm pretty sure. So we're starting to get some answers, so I can't tell you too much. But Star-Lord, Nova, and Shuri travel to what's left of Xandar to reactivate the Nova Corps world mind. So that's going to be really cool and pretty helpful, in the battle to come. And no spoilers, but we do finally learn who is behind this whole thing. One of them was pretty obvious from what we've seen, and one of them I never would have guessed. But we finally have that question answered. Who is pulling the strings? We see who that is in here. So we have our A cover right here. This is the Garon variant. This is the really awesome J. Scott Campbell cover with Nova. Yeah. This is the Manhanini variant. This is the Scotty Young variant. Poor Black Panther, just floating along on an
Just
asteroid.
holding on to an asteroid.
Yep. And then this is the Diazel Pazar variant. It's the 1 in 25. We're selling this for $14.99.
Very cool. Next up, for once, I don't have a whole lot to say about Star Wars. This is issue number 4. It's a good issue, but the current storyline is a little hard to talk about just because it involves a lot of like new characters and different disputes between them and all of that. But if you've been enjoying this series, you'll enjoy this issue of it. It says, beware the Xantark stormtroopers. I don't even remember if they show up in this one. And they've been in some of the previous ones. But a lot of characters get kind of reunited in this issue, which was fun. But I'm really excited about kind of what they're alluding to for the next story arc. So we've got our A cover here by Phil Noto. We also have our Sprouse, the Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary cover. This is 4 of 10 with General Grievous. And we have a 1 in 25 EJ Sue variant we're selling for $14.99.
Last for me is New Avengers number 3. And in this one, Bucky and Clea enter the Hulk's mind in order to get Banner's help because Banner is in the Hulkscape in Hulk's mind. So they're trying to get Banner's help, and then the New Avengers travel to Japan on the heels of Guru Strange, who was like the twisted evil version of Doctor Strange. And it's there that they finally run into Carnage. So now we have at least, they're still not all a team yet, but we have at least now seen all of the characters who are supposed to be in this. And he helps, and it is Eddie Brock Carnage, so it does sort of line up with Eddie Brock Carnage, and he helps them take on Professor Extinction, who is like the evil version of Professor X. So lots of cool action in like snowy Japan, which is really cool. So this is our A cover right here. Here's your Professor Extinction from Tau. That's your Tau cover. This is great too. This is the J. Scott Campbell Black Widow variant. This is the Art of Marvel Studios variant with Bucky. And we have the 1 in 25 Ricky Yagawa cover that we are selling for $19.99. Nice homage to Hulk 181.
Next up, we finally have issue number 2 to Post Malone's Big Rig. And this was a really fun one. It is continuing kind of what they were doing in the previous one. The team, led by the trucker, hunts the next Prince of Hell. And there's a ton of action for basically, because each of these is like a double-sized issue. So there's, it kind of, you see where issue one, the issue ends and the next one starts. But for pretty much the entire first issue in this, it is just all-out action. But I'll say nowhere they go and no one they meet are safe from all of this craziness. What I did like about this issue, there is more that we learn about what happened when our main character put on the trucker hat. Because, I mean, suddenly he kind of knew how to drive this truck in a world where that wasn't it didn't even exist. At one point, they're driving the truck and he says, get me more ammo. And the girl that's with him is like, what's ammo? And he's like, the green boxes in the back. It's like, so it's like, wait, how does he know all this? That is explored a little bit in this about what happened when he put on that hat. And I was like, oh, that's some really interesting world building. But yeah, mostly all out action, really cool monsters again, these big demon things. So if you enjoyed the first one, you're going to enjoy this one. There is your A cover. And we also have a Peach Momoko cover.
I'm out.
Oh, and then I just wanted to rapid fire show off some of books that we didn't talk about, but I wanted to show some really cool covers. So we did get the second printing of Marvel Swimsuit Special, Friends, Foes, and Rivals. This is the Lozano cover. I know we had a lot of people pre-order this. Is that Emma Frost? She's kind of got diamonds and stuff on her wrist.
It kind of looks like it.
So I guess that's Emma Frost, but just a really cool cover there. And, of course, we've got more of the J. Scott Campbell Just Spectacular covers. We didn't talk about the books they went with, but we did want to show off the covers. So we've got the one for Psylocke, issue number 10. Very classic Psylocke there. And one for Wolverine number 12, which I love this one, this classic Wolverine. And that is it for our early comics review video. Thank you so much for watching. There was a lot this week, so don't miss out. Head to infinityflux.net so you don't miss out on any of these. Especially some of these books, their variants will sell out, so go ahead, get your order in. It's not even a pre-order. They are live on the website. So once you get it, you've got it. It is claimed and it is all yours. So when it releases on Wednesday, you'll have it, whether it's in your box or if you are out of town and we mail it to you, you will be set. Stay tuned for our show coming up on Wednesday, where we'll be going over some of the books that you can pre-order by this weekend. And make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done that already, because it really helps us and spreads the love of comics, which is what we're here about. So, anything to add?
I'm hungry.
You're a waste of time. No, I appreciate you being here as always, especially when I'm not here. I appreciate you being
I'm glad
here.
you're back, because this is hard to show. This is a hard show to do on your own.
This is the hardest show to do by yourself.
Yeah.
It's double the workload, and you just want to make sure you cover it all. So,
Yeah.
yes, I am back, and for a while, I believe. So, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.